not good. So we survived the downpour. Happy to say the tent held up incredibly well in 40-mile-an-hour winds, so that was impressive. That rain has kind of moved on, mostly clear behind it. There's another wave of stuff that's supposed to pass through a little bit later on, but then hopefully the rest of the day is going to be pretty nice here. And hopefully the nighttime air show goes off without a hitch, because that's why I'm staying one more day to check that out. Don't want to miss that show. It's always a good time. So despite the massive thunderstorm at 6:30 this morning, the skies have cleared up beautifully. So on my way to the nighttime air show. Should be spectacular. I'll film it and then I'll post it all with kind of a wrap up of this. I'm gonna fly out of here in the morning. So I'll do a kind of a wrap up video, hitting the highlights, and I'll probably end that with the air show tonight. If you like vintage World War II airplanes like Corsairs and Mustangs, not one or two, not a handful, dozens. Half of them are up flying right now, but as you can see, there's still a bunch here on the ground. So if that's what you're into and you want to see a lot of them, I think if they're flying in service somewhere, they're probably here at Oshkosh this week. Just another reason to come on up. Told you it was awesome. This was definitely one of my favorite airplanes growing up. And then of course I found out about the Mustang. But you can love two airplanes. And then of course one of the best reasons to come to Oshkosh, other than seeing every conceivable airplane known to man, is you get to see most of them in the air. There's an air show every day. So at this point, I'll start filming the departure and show you the process of getting back out of Oshkosh. And as you'll see from the lineup, it's a pretty busy morning. It'll take about an hour to taxi out. That can be typical on some of the busy mornings, getting out of the air show. So plan on that. On the flight back, I'll talk in some detail about the air show, kind of recap things, talk about some of the things to bring with you when you're planning your trip, that sort of thing. One of the things that I forgot to talk about during the flight that I'll talk about now is the process of coming in, getting your camping spot, and all of that kind of thing. So the camping spots themselves are given out on a first come first served basis, so you don't know exactly where you're going to be. But prior to the show, you can go online and you can buy your tickets and basically get a wristband. They can mail that to you, or if you want, you can get an electronic ticket that you can present once you get to the show, and they'll give you your wristband there to get in and out of show center during the week. As far as paying for your camping, basically the way that works is once you get on the ground, you'll go over to one of the registration areas. They'll let you know where that's at when you park the plane. And you'll go over there with your tail number and fill out the form and everything. And I think it's about $30 a night for the camping. And what they'll do is they'll charge you for the full week, and they'll give you a card. And then when you're ready to leave, you'll drop that card off at the registration facility. And if it's after hours, there's a drop box where you can drop it in, say the night before. And then when they come in the morning, they'll know that you're leaving that day, and they'll go ahead and credit back any nights that you did not stay. I believe there's a 3-night minimum, so they're going to charge you for at least that. But anything else, they'll just credit that back to your credit card. So it's a pretty easy process. Like I said, you'll just fly in, follow the marshalers, they'll park you into a spot, and then they'll let you know where the closest registration area is. And then you can take one of the buses over there if you need to, if it's too far to walk, and get yourself registered and all set up. So taxiing out this morning. Made it most of the way down toward the runway, but as you can see,
line up and wait just behind that Cirrus on the right side.
This is going to take a while.
November 8 Echo, runway 27, clear for takeoff.
Patience.
8, 9, or 4, taxi up to where the Cirrus was. Line up and wait just past the orange dot. 5, 9, or 6, line up and wait right side behind the Cirrus. Couple more arrivals, everyone continue to hold short. Again, and if you're new to the frequency, we may be putting 4 on the runway at a time, right in front of the orange dot, right ahead of it. If you're on the north side, expect to be lined up on the right side of the runway. If you're on the south side, expect to be lined up on the left side of the runway.
4 departures at a time.
We got a couple of arrivals, but be ready, you'll be next after we get these last couple in. And for the Vision Jet, you got the squawk, it'll be runway heading and 3,000 on the go when we get you out of here.
We got it, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, it's almost our turn. 42 minutes of taxi thus far. Bear that in mind for your fuel planning purposes.
Skyrider clear for takeoff. Foxtrot, Echo, Yankee, Zulu, squawk, 12351, hold position.
1351 and hold position, okay, Yankee Zulu.
Everybody that's on the north side of the runway, I need you up to and over to the runway edge. Don't make the 2V line, up to the runway edge, please. 15600, clear for takeoff.
All right, here we go. Lights, camera, action. Rolling.
47 Romeo, right side, line up and wait. Low wing, south side, line up and wait behind the black and silver. 17 Hotel, clear for takeoff.
Gauges are green, airspeed's alive, rolling.
47 Romeo, clear for takeoff. 9 Mike Papa, line up and wait, right side.
Approach, there's 2997, expect the...
Low wing on the runway, clear for takeoff. Low wing on the south side, line up and wait, left side. 9 Lima Kilo, right side, line up and wait. 3 Whiskey Mike, up to and hold short. 9 3 Charlie, up to the runway. Everybody on the north side, up to the line.
See ya, Oshkosh. Thanks for a great time.
Low wing south side, line up and wait on the left side. 3 Whiskey Mike, line up and wait, right side. 572, clear for takeoff. southeast. Sirius 9 Lima Kilo, runway 27 clear for takeoff. Bonanza low wing, pull up just a little bit further. Sirius 3 Whiskey Mike, pull beam the Bonanza just in front of the orange dot. Tan and blue, pull behind the Bonanza. Bonanza 8 Whiskey Bravo, runway 27 clear for takeoff. Number 903 Charlie, pull up behind the Sirius. Number 3 Whiskey Mike, runway 27 clear for takeoff. Number 66 Hotel, line up wait right side behind tail dragger. These warbirds are getting critical oil temps. Tan green low wing, runway 27 clear for takeoff. Blue L39, runway 27 line of wait. Number 93 Charlie, runway 27 clear for takeoff. Number 53 Tango, just pull up just a little bit further, please. Twin 52 Tango, runway 27 clear for takeoff.
The white Epsilon's behind the L39 or flight of 4.
Copy.
All right, we have cleared the Class Delta airspace.
52 Tango, we got to depart the
Climb up. Although it's beautiful down here.
And false alignment.
What an amazing, amazing.
Okay, you just missed the,
So much
the hard
fun
service.
here.
You need to make a...
All right, let's get on course.
We just need you off the
Climb
runway.
up, 2 off my wing. Here we go.
How about Bravo 2 up here for 3 Tango?
Without delay, please.
Traffic, 9 o'clock,
Yep.
low, less than 1 mile.
Got it.
Twin Cessna, off the runway, please. Do you need assistance?
Yes, sir. We'll need, we just need to get off the runway for a little bit.
Yes, please.
So Oshkosh was an absolute blast. On my way home now. So somebody in the comments had asked me to let them know, and I thought this was a good idea. What kind of stuff should you bring to Oshkosh when you're planning for it? What kind of stuff did I wish I had brought that I forgot to bring? That kind of stuff. So I thought that was a pretty good idea. So I've got, several hours to kill here. So I thought I'd kind of wrap it up a little bit. I'll talk about some of that stuff, the kind of planning for Oshkosh, stuff to bring, things I forgot to bring. And also I'll talk a little bit about how everything was there and what it's like at Oshkosh if you've never been, but maybe you're thinking about going, kind of what to expect. So, first of all, had a great time. It's a great show. But as far as things to bring, I've kind of made myself a little checklist before I left. Some are kind of obvious, but, if you're going to camp out, obviously a tent. The tent should fit kind of within the area around your aircraft. So typically the tent's going to go behind your wing before the tail. So kind of that big area. And then sometimes there's a little bit of space, just in front of your wing. Bear in mind, aircraft are parked nose to tail. So there's not a ton of room, and you don't obviously want to hog both sides of your airplane. So generally one tent kind of goes back there where you're going to sleep, and that's behind your wing. And then if you want like, a day tent or a shade kind of little thing, and you can put something out in front. I saw a lot of people with high wings. This was a kind of an interesting idea. They basically took a tarp. They draped the tarp across the top of the wing and then stake it down in the back, behind the wing, and then kind of out forward in front of the wing, and it just creates kind of like a big shade area for them to sit, watch the air show or do whatever, just kind of hang out. So I thought that was kind of an interesting way to do it, and obviously a cheap way to do it. You don't have to buy anything expensive to make that happen. Air mattress if you're going to be camping out, and then most importantly, don't forget something to inflate that air mattress with, whether it's an electric pump or something battery operated, because there's not a power outlet to plug into. And then what I did is I put a kind of thick sleeping bag on top of the air mattress, and I sleep on top of that. Usually bring an extra blanket and then a pillow, of course. Again, some of this sounds obvious, but I made a list because otherwise you're going to end up forgetting one of those things. I bring a little cooler with me, nothing huge, bring whatever size you want. As far as things out on the grounds there are several places to get bags of ice when you're there if you want ice for a cooler. So I bring a little cooler with me, some drinks and stuff like that in there. For your airplane, you want to make sure you've got good tie downs. They don't usually like those little ones that just screw into the ground because they don't really hold up to strong winds. And we had some 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts the other morning when a little storm came through. So I've got ones, they're called the Claw. They work really good because they're like, it's like a 3-prong thing. Then they've got stakes that come in at angles, so they really grip the ground. But some kind of tie down, good tie down for your airplane. Don't forget your tow bar, because you're going to need to pull your airplane out from your parking spot to start it up. I carry with me a set of kind of jumper cables for the airplane just in case my battery dies or something weird. And then some extra oil for the airplane and, you know, a handful of like shop rags, stuff like that. I also carry a little maintenance bag with me. I do that everywhere. It's nothing elaborate. You know, it's just got a few screwdrivers, a few wrenches. It's not going to let you completely, you know, dismantle the airplane and work on the engine, but at least it, you know, it can make some minor fixes if you need to. I just like to carry something with me. So facilities there, and I'll keep going with the list, but some of this touches on that. So as far as like showers and things like that, there's a couple different types there. There are what I would call portable showers. Basically, each one has its own individual little shower stall in there. You know, it's a private little room when you open the door. Not very wide, but it's big enough to get the job done. They've got, you know, it's hot water. They're usually really clean. They keep them clean. It's about equivalent to taking a shower if you were like in an RV or something like that. You know, it's nothing fancy, but it's clean and certainly effective. And it's air conditioned inside there, so you're not going to be sweating while you're taking a shower. There are a couple locations around the airport where you have the big masonry block buildings that have shower facilities inside them, that kind of stuff. I've never been inside one of those, so I don't know what the showers are like, but they have those. As far as bathroom facilities, there's, you know, obviously porta-johns all over the place. They do a really good job of keeping those clean, so it's actually pretty good. And then throughout the grounds at different locations where there are some buildings, there are some flush toilets. Some of those are in, you know, normal structure buildings, so they're just normal bathrooms. Some of the other ones are, again, in kind of like these trailers, and so it's about kind of like what you'd find like in an RV camper kind of thing. The reason I was talking about the shower, going through the list, one of the things don't forget to bring is like some flip-flops or slides or whatever if you don't want to actually stand in the shower that thousands of people have been standing in on your bare feet. So don't forget your slides. So bring some kind of rain gear. You know, an umbrella is handy to have, but a lot of times, summertime, there's a lot of wind associated with the rain. So definitely bring like some kind of a really lightweight jacket that's waterproof kind of thing. And really handy if you can get something that's small and thin that you can throw into your bag. You know, like a tote bag that you're carrying around during the air show in case a storm pops up or something like that. Some like, you know, camping chairs if you want to sit down. One nice little thing that I've got that I found really useful when I'm camping out there is I have a little portable fan that sets up inside the tent. You know, runs on batteries. It's very low noise and all that, and rechargeable. Generally, the sleeping conditions are great because it's in the 50s and 60s. At night, there's usually a bit of a breeze. But just in case, it's nice to have a little fan like that to get the air moving. Makes it just a little bit more comfortable that way. Don't forget your towels for taking a shower last year. Totally forgot to bring a towel. So yeah, bring a towel. Some kind of lighting for inside your tent. I've got like a little Coleman battery operated kind of lantern that, you know, pops open to give me some lighting there. So something like that. Definitely bring hat, sunscreen. I brought some mosquito kind of repellent stuff, but in the 2 years that, you know, last 2 years I've been there, never encountered a single mosquito, so I don't really know that that's necessary, but never hurts to have it. Definitely, though, some sunscreen and a hat. Maybe some extra batteries if you need it for, you know, whatever devices that you have and you're going to bring out there. And there are some ATMs set up all around the facility. I always grab cash whenever I'm traveling like this anyway, just to have cash on hand. That's pretty much the list that I had there. One thing that I screwed up this time, I have a cover for my aircraft, you know, goes across the whole top, covers the windows and everything. And I accidentally grabbed what I thought was the aircraft cover. Turns out it was actually the engine cowling cover. So I managed with some bungee cords to at least get it to cover the windshield, so at least I had some kind of protection from the sun so my airplane wasn't baking out there. So as far as areas, facilities and things like that. I talked about the bathrooms and the showers. There's recharging stations all over the place, so if you have some electronics, iPads, phones, cameras, and all that kind of stuff, plenty of places to recharge your batteries throughout the whole area. One thing that I did bring and that I like also along those lines, a little portable rechargeable battery to plug your devices into and recharge, but it has solar panels on it, so during the day when I'm at the air show, and lots of other people do the same thing, you see them laying out on the wing of the airplane, it's recharging, and then at night you can plug your stuff into it and recharge it. But if you've got some big devices that you want to charge faster, there's charging stations all over the place, so you can do that. Like I mentioned, there's several kind of like little convenience stores all around the airport as well. So, in terms of snacks, drinks, little sundry items, all that kind of stuff's available to buy there. If you can fit it in your airplane and you have one, those little folding bicycles, that could come in handy. They do have buses, so I parked in, like you saw, the North 40, which is the north side of the airport. Show center, where all the activity is on the south side of runway 927. So you got to take a bus. It's a little school bus. They run about every 5 minutes, come in a loop. So they'll take you around there. But it's also more convenient. A lot of people did it if you have, any kind of like electric scooters or bikes or whatever. You want to bring something like that. That's really useful. When you get to the actual entrance to where they have the air show and stuff like that, you won't be able to bring that in there, but there's an area to kind of chain that stuff up, like little bike racks and all that. So yeah, I think that kind of hits everything as far as planning out the flight, what to bring kind of stuff. As far as, what to expect there, before you go to the EAA website, eaa.org, and click on AirVenture. Tons of information there. Look up the area of, flying in. It'll kind of help you in terms of, doing some of that planning, what to expect. But also there's a schedule of events. So from about 1:32 p.m. every day to about 6 or 7 is the formal air show. Now earlier than that, you will see some flybys by different aircraft and stuff like that. It might be a military jet or something like that, but the official show is in that other window. So obviously every day there's a great air show to go see. But if you're like me, there's also tons and tons of workshops that you can go do, hands-on kind of stuff, a lot of them. Some of them are more informative kind of forums, or just a speaker there talking about a variety of different things. But so if you go to the schedule on the EAA website, it'll show you every day all the different exhibitors and events and forums and hands-on workshops and all that stuff that's going on. And I basically went through and kind of looked at them all and then, cherry-picked the ones that I wanted to go see and kind of built myself a schedule. They actually have it set up so that on your mobile device, you can actually kind of build yourself a little schedule of all those events. Checking it, basically you go through, you see the ones you want, you hit the checkbox on it, and that way every day you can just pull that up and you can see what you had planned for the day and know where you want to go. So that's pretty useful. And so that's what it's all about. You go to those workshops, there's an air show in the afternoon, and then, you can just spend hours and hours walking around looking at all the airplanes there. I'd say quite literally, if it's an airplane that can fly and is still flying, there's at least one of them at Oshkosh, and usually a lot of them. So you've got the Warbird area, which is just loaded to the gills with every conceivable Warbird. Some of the high-performance ones, but then also, some of the scout planes, like I think it was the Cessna 170s that they used in Vietnam for scouting, that kind of stuff. Just, the full spectrum of everything military aviation has to offer. It's there, and lots of them. Then you've got the vintage area, which is just an incredible area. You'll see these airplanes from the 1930s, 1940s, kind of the golden era of aviation. And again, you're not going to see one or two like you might at some places. You're going to see a field full of, you know, Stearman, Stinson, Howards. I mean, you name it, it's there. And they're all kind of corralled in these different areas, because if you have a unique airplane like that, like a, you know, the old vintage ones, or home built like an RV or a Glass Air or a Long Easy or whatever, they have them park in areas together, which is great when you're walking around, because you can just kind of go visit the different areas and see all the airplanes that you want to see. So that's fantastic. And then, you know, there's that. But then, if you just walk the flight line, so like I said, I parked in the North 40. So there's campers on both sides, north and south of runway 927. And you can just walk up and down that, you know, just where people are camped, and see all kinds of incredible airplanes. Some are just absolutely gorgeous. And then, on the west side of the north-south runway, once you get past south of Show Center, all the way down beyond the end of the runway is what they call the South 40. And again, that's all camping. And you'll see some incredible private airplanes. I had no idea how many people own their own personal DC-3 or a PBY or an Electra. You know, and then lots of course, you know, Pipers, Moonies, and all that. And some of them are just, you know, really tricked out, just, you know, beautiful, some really interesting paint jobs. Some have a much bigger engine than the manufacturer, you know, originally put on there and kind of stuff. So just some really neat things to see just walking around looking at all those airplanes. Definitely want to come up for multiple days. There's no way you're going to see, even if you didn't do any workshops, you're still not going to see everything in one day, because it's a huge area to walk around, and you will wear yourself out. So plan on that, wear some comfortable shoes, and yeah, just, you know, I'd say if you got the time ahead of time, kind of plan out your week, things you want to see, things you want to do. And then just enjoy the day. It's such a really good time. And then in the evenings, the great part about camping out there, you know, everybody's hanging out around their airplanes. You'll meet some great people, have some great conversations. It's just a very relaxing and fun atmosphere. And then, number one tip of all, if you're going to fly to Oshkosh, if you're only going to stay for a few days, make sure you are there on a Wednesday night and a Saturday night, because that is the nighttime air show. And that is spectacular. These airplanes that have their wings completely covered in LEDs that change color, and they shoot huge fireworks out their wingtips as they fly loops and rolls and all this stuff, and it's beautiful. It starts at twilight, and as it gets darker and darker, the show gets better and better. And then, at the very end is kind of the grand finale, and they basically take an hour's worth of 4th of July fireworks and set them all off in about 12 minutes, non-stop, while, again, there's a guy, I believe he's flying a Chipmunk with LED lights and just throwing all kinds of fireworks at his wing, looping around. It's incredible. And while all that's happening, there's huge pyrotechnic explosions going off on the ground. So definitely something you don't want to miss. If you can't make it to Oshkosh and you want to see that nighttime air show, they do one down in Lakeland at Sun and Fun as well. I haven't seen the night one in Lakeland, so I can't say it's exactly the same or not, but I'm sure it's very impressive. So that's it. I had a great time. I went to a handful of workshops, met some great people, and saw some beautiful airplanes. Just had a really good time. So hope you enjoy all the videos that I'm putting out. I've got lots more coming ahead. Please, if you're watching this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe subscribe button. Getting very close to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm really trying to hit that mark. So please, if you're enjoying any of my videos, do me a huge favor, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up if you're liking the content, and share it with friends. If you want to be notified future videos coming up, hit that little bell icon, and that'll notify you as soon as I post a new video. Periodically throughout the day, I go and look through the comments and answer any questions that people have and reply to feedback. So if you have comments you'd like to share with me about my videos or things you'd like to see, please feel free to share that stuff. I love all feedback, so that'd be great. I'd really appreciate that. But again, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Got some fun stuff coming up. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching.